Greetings programs, Tanker and Fernail here. Welcome back to Runehammer. We're going to play some D&D, but first I got a craft project I've been putting off for quite a while, and it is time to get her done. And that is the dungeon stackers, which are the brilliant invention of Pilly over at Black Magic Craft. So go check out his channel, sub to that because he's the man. And I'm going to make my dungeon stacker set. I'm going to do it maybe a little bit crazy and a little bit loose. But hey man, it's Saturday, kind of nice day out, so I'm out here in my front space. I got everything I need set up, so come on in closer and let's get this thing underway, alright? Alright, so let's sound off on our supplies here. So I got my coffee, I got my glue gun, my Sentoku, Zacto, some extra glue sticks. I always keep a mini on hand to check for flatness and to check for scale. I have 2 pieces of styrene that I've milled, and by mill I just mean cut, but I've just cut down the side of my sheet to make these 2 long pieces. Okay, so that's really all I need is good sharp, this has a fresh blade in it, good sharp Sentoku, these few supplies, and we're just gonna take these 2 pieces of milled foam here, and we're gonna set up the dungeon stackers. Now what's so cool about the stackers is that they don't really have an up direction to them. They're a little 3-tiered piece of stairs that can either function as stairs or put on its end to be like a sort of crenellated wall or put together to form a small pyramid. They're just brilliant. Some people are crafting the dungeon stackers with a lot of like mathematic and measurement precision, so they sort of puzzle together. I'm not doing any of that. All right, my first step is that I'm gonna need some squares. What is that? That's about yay far. Go about yay far there. There you go, so you just get a really clean cut that way. Now what I want is the squares that go with it. So the squares are like here-ish. That's as precise as I'm gonna get. So now I just need 8 of these. So now we need the one that is half the size of the square. So again, I don't know what I'm doing. As far as measurement, I'm just totally eyeballing. So I think I'm going to start building. So just do. Always keep extra sticks on hand because you always run out. It's like Murphy's Law. Ooh, that cut came out super slick. Change them if you don't like how they turn out. To me, the important part is just that I get to keep flowing. I just like to have fun and float along. I don't want to stop and doubt my work. That's when I get unhappy. Great. Okay, so here's my stacker set. So see, it's just really it's super quick. Now to do my stackers in my style, I want to start doing my sculpture work on the piece with my precise knife. So I want to get you in really close to see this sort of corner milling that I do. All right, so let's see if we can do some detailing on these stackers. So here's one right here. And then let's just do this. So you just So see, I just do 2 cuts, right angles, very shallow depth, right along the edge, and you get this like fluted edging, which I'm a big fan of, as you guys may know. See how that little piece just falls right away? There you go. So got all the fluting done on all the pieces here, and so here's what I got. Now I did them all different, so some surfaces have the edging, some don't. All the little chips are different on each piece, so you just kind of get some variety. So my final step now is a book or a page out of Scotty's book, which is get your ballpoint pen. And not only am I gonna draw all my little cracks, but I also just like will punch holes like this. And it just gives it a porous look, or maybe aged, like, you know, they're almost like little bullet holes or something, but it really helps to break up big surfaces. So get on in for the super close-up, and let's do the time lapse as I do all the pen work. Okay, so we've got all the ballpoint pen work done, and string. So here's my stacker, and I've got just this little random chunk of 3D printed terrain, but anything with any kind of roughness, a rock would work. And then I also have this tiny plastic skull. So I don't know if this is gonna work, but see there's faces. So this little skull is going to get some texture in here that looks like little faces occasionally, which may or may not be cool, it's hard to tell. But either way, you just want to take things with texture and break up some of your smooth spots, and your black paint will catch this later when you're doing like dry brushing and stuff like that. Okay, so next we are going to do black paint, and then it's a long wait for the base coat to dry. So let me show you how I do my base coat. It's pretty simple stuff. Got our paint set up here. So first of all, this is my drying setup. It's a baking pan with a cookie sheet, a cookie drying, cookie cooling thing on it. The Runehammer patented base coat formula. So you take your black paint, right? You take your white glue. Make sure you got, is there plenty in there? Oh yeah, there it is. I see the magic. And then you just go boosh, boosh. There we go. What you wind up getting is a very thick, juicy black paint that will also dry into a durable sort of plastic coat. And on it goes. And just be very generous so that you get into every little thing. That way you don't have to go back again. Lovely, lovely black coat. I'm gonna paint some foam. I'm gonna make a dungeon and call it my home. I'm gonna roll some D20. Gonna live life to the max. I'm gonna eat some bacon with my dungeon stacks. Yeah, so black coat is done, and now we're gonna let that dry. That's gonna take a coon's age. So by the time that's done, near a fortnight, I'll be back here and we'll do the sponge painting, the dry brushing, and we'll get these dungeon stackers done, and we'll get them to the table where the real fun begins, all right? Okay, 24 hours later, and the glue black paint base coat is all dry and nice and feels good. The surface is really nice, and we are ready to paint. Okay, so I got my paint plate right here for mixing. You're gonna need a couple of sponges for this technique. I've also got some plant matter, so we're gonna tuck just tiny bits of plant matter here and there in the cracks. The rest of this is all just useless mess. Then I've got my black and white. If you want to mix it up just a little bit, you can add just a tiny bit of like beige into your gray mixtures, and it can give it a little more natural color. And then I've got silver and gold. So right at the end, I do little flecks of silver and gold, which kind of give it this feeling of being a dungeon or something. I don't know why I do it. I just do it. And that way all my sets match because I use the same techniques. So these awesome stackers will go seamlessly into the rest of the stuff I have. And already there are so many ideas that are forming because of the geometry that these things create. They're just fantastic. So let's not get excited about the geometry yet, because that's going to be the exciting step at the end where we're going to do some map building. But for now, we need to do paint. So I'm going to zoom you in so you can see exactly how I get the paint look that I do. The first thing is you're going to do a dark gray. So you want to do your darkest color first. And I take a normal sponge from the dollar store. You get like 6 of these for $1. I tear it in half to make life easy. Then you're gonna get paint all along here. And I kind of put it out here. So you're gonna go like that. So you get that kind of mess going on. And then even it out like this. See how that evens it? And you want to get a lot of the paint off so you just have a little film on there. Then here's your piece. And you just poop, poop. And don't let your hand move. Don't slide your sponge, just touch. Now the reason you're using a sponge is it has all this interesting texture. And all that texture will be transferred right into the paint. Now be careful like how you hold your piece is going to affect texture. Everything you do to this is going to affect texture. So I hold like right on the corners like that. And try to avoid touching any big surfaces because you'll smear your texture. And there you go, it's just that quick. I take your clean side of your sponge, here's your paint, add some white, maybe add a teeny little pop of beige. Just mix this new color. Now I want to get as much of this sponge covered right here. See that? I want to get that whole surface. And the reason is when you're doing this next color, you really want to get as much texture as possible. So you want as few times touching as possible. So you like go perp, like that. Perp. There you go. That's it. So you get all that texture. So don't press that hard. Don't try not to do, you know, lots of touching with it. You don't even have to cover all the surfaces. There we go, done. Don't need much on this step because you're going to do some very light dabbing. And you want a fresh sponge, nice and clean. Okay, and then what you want to do is get a really wide spread on your sponge. See that? Barely any paint, really wide space. And then just go and just do these like those. See that? Gold down here. And for gold, since you're going to do so little of it, you can just use this part of your sponge here and just do this. And you just have that. And you just a couple little, that's it. I find it to be good. Oh! Ugh! Ooh, that smells weird. Okay, so we're in mega macro mode now to get a look at how I do some of my little plant detailing. Okay, so I'm going to get a few things. So first I've got this little sprig from an aquarium, which is a little piece of plastic plant. Then I've got some of this Spanish goat beard moss. And then I've got this crazy business, this sort of foam. It's basically ground up foam. See this stuff? It's just in like little crumbles. You don't want to put too much plant matter wherever. Remember, you've got your test mini, like wherever your mini's going to stand. So you want these nice flat standable spaces. Then I will take my stick and punch a little bit of a hole like that. You'll find that you can get very small sprigs when you take apart the aquarium. See, you started with a bigger sprig, and this bigger sprig includes 4 of these teeny ones. So, oh, I got drool on my glue gun. Get a little bit of glue in my hole. Glue in my hole, LOL. Okay, get those things off there. Then I take my stick, I line it up on my plant like that, and then shove it in there. Like that. Then you can twist the stick to release it and it'll come free. You can do a similar thing but without a hole and no stick and none of that stuff. So you're going to work along this seam in the stairs. There you go. See that little bead of glue? That's your first step. Then take this guy and just, I know this feels crazy, but just shove him onto the glue and hold him. Then in a second, after the glue dries, you're going to sort of pull a little bit of him away. And what remains is what's going to be stuck to the glue really well. Like that, see? And you can still use your stick here if you want to save your fingers. You can kind of... So there are my stackers. Shapes are just, they start creating themselves and they're really fun. Shabba-doo at the table with me. Hankering Fernle. Hey, okay, here we are at the table. The stackers are done. And here they are. What I wanted to do is just take my stackers here at my board and just sort of goof around for a second, basically. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I have my hero here. He's this solitary wizard who goes and he's going to stop this ritual or destroy this god that they're going to summon. And then, of course, I have all my hooded cultists here going, fumbala, 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 hey, fumbala, fumbala, rise up, fumbala. Right, so he comes in. Now, the question isn't what's the battle. We could totally design this battle. You know, he needs to destroy these guys. If even one of them's alive, then you see this little token I have right here? That little token, so let's say the fight spreads everybody out a little bit. That little token will mark where this guy is going to be summoned. And then, oh my God, no! He's battling, and then that guy can also summon these two sort of chomper beasts. I don't know what the heck those things are, but they're awful. You get into designing this whole battle, but instead, we're just talking about finishing up my dungeon stackers, which are these little guys, right? It's sort of like a combination of stairs or teeth, or it's all kinds of things. So let's just play for a minute, okay? So let's get these guys out of here, and we'll just keep that in mind, that we're doing these blue cultists. There's a little token that marks where the demon's gonna pop up, and somehow the architecture is interesting. Why are the stackers so cool and innovative? Well, first of all, you can combine them like yeah to make a pyramid. So if I do a pyramid like him, then my token is right here, but you know, the token just isn't as exciting. Let's just get right to the monkey. Boom! Up on this pyramid, and right away this has a real fun 3D component to it. Now if I have more stackers left and I just want them to be cool, I can just put them on the poles of the rooms. This one isn't used. And there you go. Now what do these mean? Maybe cultists are on these. You see what I mean? And it looks like they're sort of more built into the space that way. Again, the idea here isn't just to do a video, but to do a stacker video. So you can take these, and because of the way they're built, they'll fit together like that to make a cube. And then you can put the cube in there, and then you put these on the side, get rid of this guy, he's in the way now. There you go. Now that's the jumbo-sized pyramid. It's got more room for him to be on top. It looks a little more appropriate, and there you go. On that note, you could take some walls, these two guys, put them in here, and I can make a double tall cube with my stackers. Then I can use my stackers, two of them on their sides like this, two of them like that, and I think, yeah, I have another spare, something like that. Then I take them and put the next one down here, and the next one down here, and look, then I have super pyramid. And I have this like huge structure. Remember, this is my little guy down here. Oh my God, and he's facing this massive edifice. Now at a certain size, it's going to become prohibitive to some players to see the entire board, so it can be too dramatic and too amazing, unless this is like at your side of the board and it doesn't block. So as far as that sort of cube idea goes, that's kind of interesting too. So let's just flip it completely. Let's say that they're like this. They're all on their sides, and this sort of toothy part is inward, like that. And this is the corridor that this guy is facing, and the cultists are down here at the end. And the cultists are actually like closing these things together, and the teeth like fit together. See that? Like, so toward the end, you have this like jaw type shape. Get out of there, cultists, you're doomed. Then of course you can just make cubes and you can line them up like this. Wait, you're off kilter, buddy. And like that. Then you have this cool sense of architecture. Look how it makes this weird seam in here. And then I'm walking on top of this. If you want, you can put stairs for transitions to altitude, like that. Now this is good visibility for all players at this length too. And then maybe he can use his like psychic power, like, and he can do some kind of weird stuff like that. It's just like there. That's also a nice piece of, that's like an altar that leads up to where the big guy is, and then you can have your little guys on the side here, like that. Another idea that I wanted to do was sort of like a coliseum that you could do with the stackers. So you get them all on their bottoms, if they have such a thing. Do you even have a bottom? Well, don't look at it, bottom looker. Okay, so there you do this, and you have like this amphitheater, like Pompeii style. Now, you know, players can use their imagination to fill this in to make it a full circle, but there you go. So you can do this, and you get this kind of throne-like feel. You put these high, and keep the other ones low. I don't know what these guys are doing. They're not even involved in this design. And then cultist. And again, is this adding like all kinds of new mechanics and everything to your game? Maybe, but more importantly, it's just adding this architecturally interesting element. Instead of being stuck in little 3x3 squares all the time, you just get into not so much relief that you can't see the board, but enough relief where it's awesome. A huge part of architecture is using repetition to create this sort of sense of whoa, right? So now also if you have these wooden blocks, like I always keep handy, okay, the other two. So you could use the same design, but you could add the wooden blocks, and you could turn these like inward, and then you get this kind of crazy, like almost alien geometry. Like this is something like a Marvel concept artist would design, right? It has these two big, you know, or you could do the same thing, but you could do it, you know, like that. You could even do it sort of weird. Like, I don't know, it's like dark world type architecture. Like, I don't know, I'm just kind of winging it. Then here's another one that I discovered when I was goofing around at the craft table. Take two of these, put them together to, you know, tooth to tooth. And then another one, zigzag down, and you've got your temporary house. So in my village encounters, this would count as a house. Then I've got a hut right here. That's a hut. Wooden blocks and a roof. And then we've got another hut over here. Hey, come on, make a hut. Make like a hut and leave. I don't know what that means. So now get rid of these, and you have a town. So now my bad guys are over here. I'm on this side of town. Here's my little village build. Now these buildings aren't that representative, but it doesn't matter because you get the sense of streets. There's no walls in town. This is not a defended town. I don't know why. So here you can use short walls, these two walls, then put a roof on it. There's a bigger building. Or put two of them side by side like this. There's a longer building. See, it's totally a building. I mean, look at this. That is totally like one of Black Magic Craft's mausoleums. Statues are all statues of the cultists. Then you take your rooftops, which are made of stackers, put these two walls together, go like this. Come on. Go like that. These two walls are a little unruly. So you get like that. That's like a barrow, sort of. It looks like an old like Viking ruin or something. So let's say these are not quite stable enough for your taste. You can use these guys to make the foundational piece. So, am I psycho? Yes. Am I excited? Absolutely. Here we go. There is your dark cathedral right there. Now, is it to scale? Is it cathedral size? Heck no, but it works to set up a map. Now we have an encounter here. And then, oh, what's this? I feel like there's like a weird space right there. Can I just get here, this will work. There's some kind of weird thing on the ground right there. Then where's my wizard? My wizard enters over here, and here is what he's facing. So now we're building like this. And then here's your entrance, or better yet, here's your entrance here, across this sort of broken path. These are the stairs leading up to it, just a bottomless pit. And then here's your exit path. And here's your stairs out to the next thing. Then you've got door. Then you've got door right here. And there you go. Where's my wizard? Right here. So he comes up, and then he's like, whoa, this is a weird path. And then he's right here, and there's a pit. And then, oh my God, out of the pit arises this thing, and it's flying over the pit. Super narrow walls to come along here. Whoa. Now remember, this is like negative space, so you can't fall this way. This is solid in here. But this is how you could build a dungeon like that. It's like a thing like this is what I wanted to create. And you can put some walls in the back, which you can't even see the back, so what do you care? But the back is also solid like that. And then you get this cool little like, almost like Warcraft style tower. And then you can put these actually in the center, and it gives you just enough room for your wizard to get on this little ledge here. And this whole thing is like, how awesome are these things? I just absolutely love these things. This is Anchor Infernal. Keep it real, don't steal, you always get a deal. This is just my little craft video on making dungeon stackers. So this idea originally came from Jeremy Pillypow over at Black Magic Craft. I don't know what I'm pointing at, the internet, go to that internet, go on Blackmagic Craft, sub to his channel because it's the bomb diggity biggity bomb. And that's where I got this craft, and I did it myself from my own table. So I'm gonna live large, and Charles is in charge, baby. 8. Rolled an 8. That was supposed to be like super cool, where just like on the spot I rolled a 20. Rolled an 8.